Episode 56, Thinking Big and Building Teams. Welcome to the Gayla Scrivener Show. I'm so glad you're here. You're in the right place if you're looking for ideas and inspiration to start and grow your own business, your own freedom business. A definition of a freedom business can mean different things to different people. But for me, it's creating a business where I have the freedom to live and to work from anywhere. But for you, creating freedom in your life may mean something a little bit different. There came a time in my life where I was burnt out by my career that I had been in for over 20 years. I felt stifled and confined by a cubicle. Breaking away from the 9-to-5 grind and having the freedom to work from practically anywhere is a cool feeling. But here's the thing. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without work. But all the time and effort, the learning and the stretching is so worth it. Every week in this podcast, I'm sharing my experiences that I've had in growing my business and achieving the work from anywhere lifestyle. You too can experience wonderful adventure and freedom as you live life on your own terms. Now, today's episode is all about teams. If you're listening to this on the day that this episode publishes, it happens to be Administrative Professionals Day. It started in the early 1950s, and it was originally known as Secretary's Day. It's the recognition of the efforts for those professionals who work behind the scenes to get all the detail work done that makes the office run more smoothly. All of my adult life, I have worked behind the scenes working in administrative offices. My very first job right out of high school was filing charts and confirming appointments for an ophthalmologist. Today, I run a virtual assistant business where we all work behind the scenes helping small business owners with the detail work of their content marketing. Now, I'm not looking for recognition on Administrative Professionals Day. Nope. On the contrary, I wanted to take this opportunity to publicly announce how appreciative I am of my team and their efforts and contribution in helping our clients grow their businesses. I'm also appreciative of each one of our clients as they make the leap from working as a solopreneur and beginning to stop working in their businesses and start working on their businesses. I want to dedicate this show with two angles in mind, about building teams and about tackling the administrative work that we all must do. First, from the perspective of being the behind-the-scenes person. In episode 46, Achieving More Work Freedom is Possible, I share how about 8 years ago, I was frustrated and burnt out in a career that I had been in for 20 years. I wanted a change. I shared my story about how I made the leap to create a lifestyle where I can work and live from practically anywhere. Now, after that episode, I had received a few comments from folks who were going through similar experiences. They've been in a career for a very long time and they feel trapped in doing the same job forever. They felt trapped in staying there even though they are unhappy. They are stuck and their minds are closed to all the possibilities. And I get it, believe me. Running medical offices for so long, I didn't know what I wanted to do next or even what I was capable of. I was blind to the fact that there is such a wonderful world of opportunity out there. I was blind because I was in the same industry for so long, and it was tough to see beyond what I already knew. I had a tough time at first recognizing that my abilities and how they could help in other areas far removed from the medical office. When I was so frustrated and knew from my very core that I needed a change, I researched. I first looked at different jobs. Now, that wasn't what I truly wanted. I didn't want to go from one confining job to another. I wanted to create something on my own. I came across the word or the term virtual assistant. Once I learned what a virtual assistant was, I wanted to create my own virtual assistant company. I didn't know how it was going to come together by any means, but as soon as I discovered that term, I just knew that was the direction I wanted to go. If you, at this very moment, are just stuck and long for something different, you want to have your own business, don't know really what to do, I encourage you to start your own virtual assistant business. Now, the term virtual assistant is such a general term. There are plenty of professionals out there that may not label themselves as a VA, but in my book, they fall into the same basic classification. The beauty of being a VA is that you can be as general or as specific as you want. It just depends on what you want to focus on. So let's start out with the definition of a virtual assistant. The most simple definition is a highly skilled professional helping others who have more work than time to do the task. That's simple. VAs are usually independent contractors who use their own equipment, their own office space to accomplish the task their client needs to be done. Now, what could that task be? Well, the possibilities are vast. You could type up letters, arrange meetings, help manage other people's emails. You can do data entry, supply ordering. You can research, website updates. You can do blog posts, ghostwriting, editing, social media management. Oh my goodness, you can be a bookkeeper, a web developer. All of those things that you don't have to do right in your client's office. The possibilities are vast, like I said, and the list goes on and on. Now, if you want some ideas to consider what you could do as a VA, I invite you to download my free list, 50 Tasks Perfect to Delegate. It was designed for the business owner who is thinking about hiring someone to spark some ideas of what they could delegate. But it's also really perfect for you who need a little inspiration of seeing what possibilities are out there of what you could do as a virtual assistant. Now, you can download your copy by going to scrivenersolutions.com/50 tasks. Heck, if you are already at the point in your business where you need to start delegating, download the list. I'm sure it'll spark some ideas too. Again, that's at scrivenersolutions.com/50 tasks. I'll have a link to it in the show notes. You can pick up some tasks to do for others. You'll learn and you'll expand your knowledge. It's not a bad idea to specialize or niche down. Maybe you'll work for just realtors, for example. Maybe you're a bookkeeper and the only clients you want are restaurant owners. If you're still not sure what you have to offer, then learn something that sparks your interest. Remember, details are important. And as a virtual assistant, you work in the details, helping your client. As a VA, you'd be helping your client with all that detail work. And like I said, the details are super important so that your client may focus their time and their energy on other tasks that are equally important. Even the simplest and most minute detail is important. It may be so super simple for you, but it may be a challenge or overlooked by your client. When someone focuses on a piece of the whole picture, they can help make sure that all the pieces are always done. Now let's take, for example, showing gratitude. Most of us have good intentions to send thank you cards or birthday cards, but good intentions usually doesn't get the job done. We think about it, and then the opportunity passes, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a week, and now 2 weeks, and now 6 weeks after the fact. Opportunity missed. The benefit of doing that seemingly simple task can have a huge, huge impact on a business. So if you delegate that little task to someone that concentrates only on that, and if you are the virtual assistant that's concentrating on that, that little detail makes a big difference. It's like a ripple effect. So for those of you who want to start a business, I encourage you to become a virtual assistant. Working behind the scenes helping others is a very rewarding path. Now, how about you who already have a business? You may be getting started in building your business and doing everything yourself right at this moment, but you always need to be thinking ahead and thinking about building a team to scale your business. Because if you are not thinking ahead in your processes and your routines now, you will not be able to push forward and scale your business. Now, you may be overwhelmed with all the stuff you need to do in running your business right now, and you need to be aware that creating a team to help you grow your business isn't done all at once. You can't magically just hire somebody and right out of the gate, your team works smoothly. It doesn't. It takes work on that. When you are feeling pulled in so many directions and it's time to delegate and hire some help, you don't have to wait until you have enough work to hire somebody, either part or full time. That's a scary thing sometimes because it's like, oh my gosh, do I have enough work to fill all of that time? And do I have enough income to pay somebody for 20 to 30 to 40 hours a week? In fact, hiring a part or full-time employee, especially when you are young in your business, can create even more stress. Most business owners new to their businesses don't have good processes or systems yet. Everything they know is swimming up in their heads on how things are done and what their routines are. They don't take time to write up policy and procedure manuals. We're just out there doing it. Besides, having someone full or part-time means you should be guaranteeing them a minimum of a certain number of hours a week just to retain them. That's just to retain them. Whether you have work or not, they want, as an employee, to have a certain amount of hours. It just makes sense. They need to provide for their families. So you also need to fill their day with all the tasks. Not to mention, you need to take time and have the patience to train them. And it's overwhelming. So many simply suck it up and resolve that they must just work harder to get everything done. And it's madness because it can lead to burnout and you can actually stifle your business growth. And there is a better way. Instead, wouldn't it be much better that you could delegate just a little piece at a time? Hiring a professional to concentrate on certain tasks, then expand from there. Even if it's one tiny task that you pay a little bit a month for, it's a start. It's that one little thing that is off of your plate and you don't have to worry about. You can concentrate on other things. One of my first clients delegated a monthly e-newsletter for me to format for her. And that was it. I may have worked for her maybe 2 hours at the most every month in the beginning. But little by little, as I got to know her and she got to know me, she added little tasks along the way. Now, many years later, between me and 2 others on my team, she has a pretty robust back office who helps her in many ways. But it all started with one little task. For her, it was great because she could drill down her expectations on just that one task. She was learning how to delegate, learning how to communicate with a team. For me, it was great because I could focus on just that one thing she gave me. And I had the opportunity to learn more about her and her business. I became more and more interested and excited about what she was doing. As she let go of certain tasks, her business grew, and my business grew. So I guess that's a lesson for both the business owner and the virtual assistant. Start out small And that's a good thing. For both the business owner and the virtual assistant, the industry climate is that teams can come in many different forms. You may have some tasks outsourced and others you may have hired employees to do. Yep. You may transition from delegating just a few tasks to needing someone full-time. And that full-time employee could be responsible for certain administrative tasks, but maybe in her wheelhouse, she isn't very good at doing, email campaigns or updating your website. So that's why, as a business owner, you should be creative in how you form teams, because you may want some full-time people, some part-time people in-house, and then you may want to delegate some other tasks to virtual assistants. As a VA or employee in this day and age, you must be open-minded as well and embrace change. I like working with others and recognizing that we all have our talents. But what if you have some of the skills that another virtual assistant has? I say embrace it. There is enough work for everyone out there. Don't get your feelings hurt that maybe your client wants someone else to do particular tasks and your role with them is to do something else. As a VA, don't ever think that you can do it all for your client. And don't be offended when he starts to hire someone else or build his team in a certain way. It's a great sign of growth, and working together with your client's team helps everyone. As a business owner growing your team, you'll need to work with folks who can work together. Now, I want to tell you a story. I had a situation a while back that a client of mine had hired a talented designer and web developer. I, too, have some designing skills, but that wasn't the task that my client hired me to do. I needed to work together with his designer on some projects as I was helping him create his consistent content plan. And of course, I needed it on his website, so I needed to work with his web developer. But an unfortunate thing happened. My client became more and more uncomfortable. Why? Because there seemed to be this tension arising between this web developer and I. And I hated that too. Tension grew between the web developer and me. And that was so unnecessary. I felt uncomfortable working with the individual. Instead of what should have been healthy communication of making processes better for our client, it turned out to be this great big wall I was talking to. Communication was hard. My client felt like he had to be the buffer in the middle, and that was no way to be. That was no way to work. The web developer didn't even seemingly want to talk to me at all. Yes, there were differing opinions in certain areas, but that doesn't mean we couldn't work together. Also, there was some crossover skill set, so I think that because I knew how to do some things, that maybe her feelings or her ego was hurt. Just because I knew how to do some web developing things, that didn't mean I wanted to take any job away from anyone else. My client liked her work and liked her, and I respect that. But for some reason, when I came on board, this individual felt threatened. The wall came up, and to put it mildly, it was just an uncomfortable situation that I had not encountered in a very, very long time. My philosophy is that there is enough work for everyone, and I don't want to change something that's working. So, honestly, I wanted to step aside. Early on, I recognized that this situation was terrible, just plain terrible for my client. It truly cut down on his productivity. Instead of candidly expressing what outcomes he desired, he had to walk on eggshells to see how to approach the in-between communication. That just had to stop. I thought it would be best that since he had been working with his web developer longer and I was brought on later for other content marketing tasks, that perhaps he should find someone else to take on the role that I was doing. I hated to see my client struggle with the situation, and it was just better that I step aside. He also recognized that he was wasting too much time, far too much time, walking on eggshells, and he needed to make a decision and put an end to this dysfunction. I was fully prepared to lose this client, and I was okay with that because I knew that working with one of us was necessary in the short term. Later, he could find another virtual assistant to fill the roles that he needed. In the short term, he needed to pick one or the other. That being the case, I would totally understand and would have still been friends with him and respect his decision by choosing to work with his web developer. I respect his decision, and all I wanted for him was a great working relationship where he could thrive, and sometimes that would mean that I would not be a part of his journey. Making a long story short, my client did make a decision, and he made a decision to let go of the web designer. Not because of her skills and not because he didn't like her, but it was because of her mindset. He didn't believe that I was a better designer or my skill set were better. In fact, he hired me to do different functions besides designing. But he let her go because she was not a big thinker. She could not see the whole picture of how a good functioning team would work and to be open-minded about working together. My client is a big thinker and sees the opportunities of the future. He also knows that in order for big things to happen, he must surround himself with other big thinkers. It was his designer's mindset, an unwillingness to set ego aside to think long-term, big picture, and not her skills as an artist and programmer that led my client to let her go. Now, teams consist of many different scenarios, and businesses evolve. They grow, they change, they pivot, and things need to change. What once made sense to hire a VA and outsource maybe 10 hours a month on a particular task, it may change and turn out that you need somebody on site and the tasks grew to be 30 or 40 hours and you want to hire somebody full time. Then you may pivot again where that there's not enough time in the day for that full-time person to do everything, so you need to find somebody to do a little slice, and so you may outsource a little piece. No one is fantastically skilled in every single area. Finding those who are filling a job and they are working in an area of their excellence will benefit not only you as the business owner, but also benefits the team. There are times that I must admit I've got to swallow my own ego and be open-minded. I have to remind myself to look at the big picture. I won't lie to you. It does hurt a bit if I pour myself into a project that my client simply doesn't like. Maybe it's a logo design or something. Or maybe the process is no longer working for them. Sometimes it's a matter of preference, and you have to remind yourself that it's okay. It doesn't mean that your work in other areas is not appreciated. Being open and making sure the client feels comfortable in seeking out team members that make his or her business thrive is super important. You as a virtual assistant, a freelancer, whatever you want to call it, need to remember that. And you as a growing business owner need to remember that. Being comfortable in seeking out the right team members for a growing team is super important. So, this year, in observance of Administrative Professionals Day, have this be your biggest takeaway. Be open-minded. Have a positive mindset and build a team or be a part of a team that really encourages growth. For those of you who are freelancing and building up a clientele, swallow your ego and think about the bigger picture for your client. Have an open mindset. There is enough work for everyone. You can't be all things for all clients. Embrace change with a positive attitude. And for you business owners growing your team, life is too short to walk on eggshells. Build your team where you have people who are not only skilled, but have a growth mindset. I'm in a great place and gain a lot of perspective in building teams. First, I started out as a freelancer who picked up a few clients here and there to help them behind the scenes with various tasks. It was just me in the beginning as a freelancer, as the virtual assistant. But from the very beginning, I knew that I wanted to create and run a business and not be a freelancer. I knew I wanted to grow beyond what I could do personally myself. I needed to build my own team. And that's exactly what I did. I brought on Arlene, Sharon, Brandy, and Norma. They each have their areas of excellence where they excel in different areas. They are all the time learning new things. And what's wonderful is they embrace and are hungry to learn those new things. And I love that about them. And then there's Robert. He's my husband and partner in life and in business. He's just as much a part of the team as anyone. He has his role in the business, and there is certainly perspective and learning involved when working with your spouse. Believe me. Then I had a change in staffing recently. Emily, who filled our editor role for our direct mail newsletter clients, needed to make a change in her life. She wanted to focus on another career path and no longer wanted to do editing. Although I am super sad that I won't be working with her any longer, I am also happy for her and her future. I can always see her on Instagram, and I want to stay in touch. Change happens. But that led to adding Anna to fill the editor role that we have. And I'm excited to start working with Anna. Also, Megan will be starting with us soon. Things are happening. Things are changing. Everyone, Arlene, Sharon, Brandy, Norma, Robert, Anna, and Megan, all have roles on our team. All are open-minded. Some skills cross over, but I am proud that each one has the openness to encourage and help one another out. Thanks, Scrivener Solutions team, for being so fantastic. I truly couldn't do all of this without you. So happy Administrative Professionals Day. And thanks for tuning in. And be sure to go to scrivenersolutions.com/50 tasks. That's SCRIVENER solutions.com/50 tasks. And download the free list of the 50 tasks perfect to delegate. Like I said, it will spark ideas for you whether you want to delegate these tasks so that you can grow your business, or if you want to help others by being their virtual assistant. It would be such an honor if you'd subscribe to the podcast, whether your favorite player is iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment also. Until next week, just remember, think big.